Hey vloggers, it's Tommy, and this is Vlog Every Day in April. This will be for April 3rd. Jens asked me a question, and I'm basically going to paraphrase it and say, what got me fixated on the narrated? It's complicated, so let's start at the beginning. I've been a lifelong reader, and when I met Harry and got with him 20 years ago, he was not. He is legally blind and has a couple of different vision problems, and he is classified as low vision. So reading is very stressful for him. So over the years, I've often suggested he needed to get involved in audiobooks. Me getting involved in the audio, I guess it goes back to right after I started doing podcasts back in 2005 and 6. I stumbled onto an audio drama. It's called Decoder Ring Theater. And they have two shows that I was following, or that Harry and I were both following for several seasons, was The Red Panda Adventures and Blackjack Justice with Trixie Dixon, Girl Detective. And so we were listening to them when we first had iPod video and iPod shuffle and things, and we would play them in his car that had a line in. That would be something we would do together on the weekends. We would listen to a couple of 3 podcasts and this Decoder Ring Theater. A little bit after that, we moved to a new house and some other things happened. We weren't listening to so much together anymore. I went looking for other audiobooks, and I wasn't quite ready to commit to an Audible subscription yet, and he was not at all. But I found a couple of novels on podiobooks.com a little later, and I found several more, and that they were just so good, and I haven't talked about those anywhere either. And those are Ishmael Horatio Wong books, or The Golden Age of the Solar Clipper by Nathan Lowell. Go get those. His grandfatherly narration is just really good. And his writing style is really interesting. I was very engaged with all 6 books in the Share series. So I was so enthused with the Solar Clipper books that I got Harry to listen to them, and he really loved them. And so finally there was books that we both read that we could talk about after 15 years, 16 years together. And that's what I wanted all along, was to be able to talk to him about all these great books that I had read over the years that I thought he would like. And so now he's finally interested in getting audiobooks. And so we go through all of those books. He gets an Audible subscription, and I start making suggestions. But he goes and finds things that he's interested in, and he picks up some classics. But I started making suggestions of other things that I wanted him to read that I was interested in. And after I'd made several suggestions, he came back and said, no magic. It's like, oh, I was just heartbroken because I couldn't suggest just tons of things. I couldn't suggest anything by Mercedes Lackey, and I just devoured like her entire catalog since we've been together. He liked space opera books, so I went and looked what was new in space opera. I picked up a book at the library that was something that I thought we would both like, and I read it. I read the paper book, and he got the audiobook, and so then we could talk about that. And so we're at a point now where if we're both reading a book, the same book, I'm reading the paper edition or the Kindle edition, and he is reading the audiobook, and then we'll talk about it afterwards. So that's sort of, we're getting to the point where I'm ready to start making audiobooks. About 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago, I had started getting the short stories on podcasts, so Escape Pod, Pseudopod, and Podcastle. So all of that enthusiasm for audio short stories is really recent. It's like in the last 2 years. And I wanted to do something of my own. And so I started researching how to get into that. I found LibriVox, which was set up the first episode of Narration Fixation. So I was doing some chapters and short stories for LibriVox. And then I'd signed up at ACX, and I didn't feel ready for that. But when I got this good microphone, I went and set up additional audition material and samples on ACX. I started auditioning. Just from there is when I wanted to do more behind the scenes, chatting with other people involved in the business and finding out all these other things, because it's such a big learning curve to do all the mastering and just some of that esoteric mumbo jumbo to make it sound really good was just completely eluding me, and just using defaults and things just wasn't cutting it. So that's how we got there. And Harry still listens to audiobooks, and he's picked up a few more things that I've suggested over the years, like Ready Player One. That was probably one of my favorites, and I will come back and answer your other question, Jens, either on Friday or on next Thursday when I have another Themeless Thursday or Freeform Friday. So if you like this video, comment, share, subscribe,